Now, if we flick back to verses 8 and 9 in this chapter, these are Jesus' instructions when they were to go out. He said, take nothing for the journey except a staff, no bread, no bag, no money in your belts. Wear sandals, but not an extra shirt. So they didn't have half a year's wage. They didn't have anything. They'd just come back. But the Bible doesn't tell us that they came back starving and tattered and torn. God had provided for them. And they'd just come back to share all they'd done and taught. But they're tired. And sometimes when we're tired, we forget stuff. But Jesus did have compassion on them, yeah? And he says, well, what do you have? How many loaves do you have? Go and see. And so they go, they found out they have 5 loaves and 2 fish. Now, in their account in John chapter 6, it says there was a little boy who had that lunch. So a little shout out to mums who pack lunch. Good job, mums. And the other kids obviously had gotten hungry and eaten it all. So then Jesus directed them to sit down in groups on the green grass. So they sat down in groups of hundreds and 50s. Wow, we're getting a picture of the amount of people. There's a lot of runners in this area of the world, right? Taking the loaves. Can you hear that? He took the loaves. We'll come back to that. And the 2 fish. And he looked up to heaven. He didn't look at the loaves and the fish. He didn't look at the hundreds and 50 sitting in front of him. He looked up to heaven. He gave thanks and he broke it. Then he gave it to the disciples to distribute to the people. He gave it to the disciples, and what did they do? They gave them something to eat. He also divided the 2 fish among them all. And what was the result? Abundance. They all ate and were satisfied. The disciples picked up the 12 baskets full of broken pieces and bread, and P.S., that was 5,000 men who were married and probably had more than 1 kid. That's a lot of people, right? Wow. Summary. Jesus said, give them something. Disciples say, we don't have anything. Jesus asks, well, what actually do you have? The disciples say, we've got 5 loaves and 2 fish. Jesus takes it. He breaks it, and he provides abundantly. And then the disciples give them something to eat, which is what Jesus said in the first place, right? And how often is this our story, right? So Jesus says, hey, go do this, Kath. And I go, oh, I don't have anything. Okay, move on. Or we go, no, I've got more faith than that. Jesus says, Kath, go do this. And I say, but I don't have anything. And he says, well, what do you actually have? All right, I've got this, but don't take it. How many of us still have the courage to let Jesus take that little bit that we have? Have that faith to trust that he will provide abundantly